Welcome back to Dad's Foxbody Garage, and today we start our episode back under Calypso with no transmission. So those of you that have been following me realize that this is kind of turned into a soup sandwich here, and we originally started with a simple clutch replacement, and it's escalated from there. Had a stock clutch from what I could tell, and just put too much horsepower to it, and it just wouldn't hold the power anymore. We do have drag radials on the car. Spin you around here. You see we got drags on there, and before that, the clutch was fine. Well, before we put the small pulley on the blower, I guess we were doing okay. But that was kind of like a switch. Put that pulley on there, and instantly the clutch went up in smoke. Anyway, long story short, so we put a Ram high performance clutch in, supposed to hold up to 600 horsepower, and could hardly press the clutch pedal down, get it to disengage. So we picked up the McLeod. I'll show you the thing here. The McLeod master cylinder retrofit, and started looking into how I install that guy, and noticed that I didn't have much adjustment on the clutch fork up here. The more I looked at it, the more I saw a lot of movement there. I'm gonna say, I'll measure it before, but I'm gonna say that's close to 3/4 of an inch, maybe a little more, from the back of the casting to like where the throwout bearing engages. So I put it out to you guys to help me out and see what you had for ideas, and there is a little bit of clearance on the back of the clutch fork where I can take the clutch fork bolt out a little bit, like if I had an adjustable one. So one of my comments was to get one of those, so I did, and that's what we're going to do now. We just got to make sure there's enough clearance between the pressure plate itself that's going to be spinning and the end of this bolt here and the clutch fork. So we're going to do that now, and hopefully I don't have to loosen up the bell housing and pull that back. I'm hoping I can pull the clutch fork out and replace that bolt and then put the clutch fork back in. But I'm going to turn on the heat out here and get going, and I'll pick you up in a minute. Alright, well, we did have to take the bell housing loose. I won't say off. I didn't take the starter out. I just had to get it loose and kind of get it off the pins a little bit so I could start the new clutch fork pivot bolt in the bell housing from the inside. And then once I got it started, you know, I could screw it in like through this hole here and put the fork on, put the bell housing back on, and then adjust it out. So the fork has clearance between the pressure plate and the clutch fork, and it looks like we picked up maybe 1/4 of an inch on the or reduced the stroke by 1/4 of an inch. We went from 5/8 to 7/8, or 7/8 to 5/8, sorry. So we gained 1/4 of an inch travel. And we should have a drinking game on how many times I hit my head on this when I have it this low. Anyway, so not a huge difference. We still have, like I said, 5/8 of slop in there per se. But if you look at it from this side, see how much room we do have of travel. That looks like a boatload of travel to me. So I think we're gonna be all right. What else? I think that's it for right there. I'm gonna jam the transmission in now, and then I'll start putting the slave cylinder on the lower, tidy up the bottom end, and then we can go up to the top and probably pull the seat out and all that stuff to try to get the new quadrant in and all that stuff. But we're moving. It's just you know, like I've said before, I'm no professional and I'm just kind of winging it here. So we'll catch up with you in a few. Alright, so we got the transmission back in, cross members on, and pretty much buttoned up. It's torqued, you know, the old one ugga-dugga with the impact. What else? Oxygen sensor is in, speedo cable's back on, and I put in the slave cylinder here. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can get some light on it. There we go. Got in the slave cylinder there, but unfortunately, after all that messing around, yeah, you still got a mile hanging off the back of that thing, so not really sure what's going on there. Is that coupling they have in the middle there just extra long? I don't know. There's no slop in it, so whoop, spin this all around. There's still a few threads left of adjustment on that. It's better than it was, but McLeod guys, if you're listening, you need a shorter spacer on that. Well, you probably don't even care anymore now. It's discontinued, but well, at least I think it is. It was on clearance. So anyhow, kind of done playing around under there. I could do the exhaust and drive shaft, but that's, you know, 10-minute job. I think I'm going to go up and see if I can get at this without pulling the seat. If I got to pull the seat, I got to pull the seat. I know it would be easier if I did it, but, you know, being stubborn, you got to at least give it a try. So that's the next thing we're going to do. Bring the car down and see what it looks like under there. Pull the speedo cable back, or speedo cable, clutch cable back. I did kind of fish the hydraulic line. I split it with the quick connect here, if you can see that, with the little tool they give you. It's pretty slick. Supposed to not have to bleed it if you use that. We'll see. Since I already have it bled. And we're gonna start tackling this thing from the top side. Well, I think we're gonna call it a night. It's late. I don't know what time it is. I'm hungry. And give you an update on where we're at. So we got the actuating cylinder and firewall bracket mounted. These things here, they sit in a like a spherical base so they can move. Kind of odd, but whatever. It is hooked up I tried bleeding the lines the best I could because it did get some air in it with that tool. It helps, but not 100%. I did end up pulling the old seat out because yeah, there was no way of getting in here otherwise. I climbed up under there, took the old BBK quadrant off. Still have to put the bushing and spring pin back in, but it's night and day what the clutch feels like. Very reminiscent of Porsche I used to have. Well, I had a couple, but clutch was really good on 986 I had. It's just super smooth. But I mean, that clutch, you know, it's probably this big around too. But anyhow, like I said, I'm gonna call it quits for the night. Go in and hang out with my wife for the rest of the evening, have something to eat, and we'll be out here tomorrow. And I think we're gonna wrap this up easily, guys. I just have to mount the reservoir here. If you can see that sticking up. Got to mount that somewhere, probably over in this area. Route the hose someplace other than over the top of my master cylinder. And that's kind of it for that project. Just put the pipes and the drive shaft back on. Oh, I got to get some oil back in the tranny. Fire it up and see how the clutch feels, see how it releases. I think it's going to be a million times better. And that's going to do it for that project. There's still a lot more. See how much time I have tomorrow to mess around with stuff, you know, after work. But I still need to do. Well, this is my Calypso pile here. You can see I have my water pump gaskets, corner lights. Gotta add some seafoam, but I gotta get some gas first. Plugs. Found this plug on a cross member down there. It's a pretty good plug. Probably won't use it, but have one set Kohler spark plugs, and then U-joints. And what else is up here? Oh, my whoops, sorry, the camera's all over the place. Drive shaft loop, liquid drive shaft loop, and license plate lights. I don't really drive at night, especially where I live. There's 9 million deer that like to go out and party in the roads at dusk, so we try to be home by then. But other than that, it's coming along. We might get this one off the hoist tomorrow of the stuff I have to do, and which would be the just buttoning it up. I can do plugs off the ramp or off the lift, and still got to do those darn U-joints, but the drive shaft only takes like 5 minutes to take off, so I guess I can procrastinate a little bit more on that. I like to do the stuff that I see a big difference in. But anyhow, I'm going to say goodnight and pick you guys up in the morning. Alright, it's another day. It's actually Saturday morning-ish. Looks like a little after 12. So maybe afternoon-ish. So where we left off was we were just buttoning up the McLeod slave cylinder, and I have this roughly the reservoir roughly mounted on the side here in a I did put a hole in there, but it was as far down as I could get with all this stuff here. A lot going on there. I don't know if you can see that, what I'm talking about there. I don't really care for this thing being so close to the top of that. I don't know if it's gonna clear with a hood on it. It may clear. But we'll see. I can always relocate it. I was thinking, how am I going to drill that? But I can pull the tire off and get at it from the other side. Just move the hole pattern down a little bit and put in 2 new holes. Probably should have done that in the first place, but you know, hindsight is 20/20. So I tried it out a little bit without a seat, you know, just kind of standing outside the car and pressing on the clutch, and without it running or anything, of course, and standing up with the wrong foot. I have no problems pushing it down, holding it down. So I think we got to win, guys. Still have to, you know, make sure it disengages and engages and all that good stuff. But thanks for the help on that one. We got that little extra movement, maybe 1/4 of an inch from what you guys saw. But instead of just putting it together and seeing if it works, I figure we'd just start another project, since that's what we do on weekends. And thinking about tackling this guy, our drive shaft loop. Read the directions, watched video on Professor YouTube there, and it looks pretty straightforward. My exhaust is already out of the way, the drive shaft is out of it, and I got 1 seat out. So basically you just get it where you want it, transfer some holes through the floor, bolt it on, and Bob's your uncle. So we'll see. But I'm going to get this thing up in the air and we'll take a look at it. Well, that's what she looks like when she's up in there. I don't know if you can, how well you can see that. But again, it looks pretty straightforward. You got these little spacers here that you put on, because the floor has like bends like this here, where it's 1/4 of an inch or whatever that is, 3/16. So I think what I'll do is I'll mark the floor on one side, drill that, bolt it on, and then while that's tight, go to the other side and do the same, bolt that up. But before that, of course, I'm going to make sure the drive shaft looks happy when it goes through the middle there. But just kind of surprised at how off center the engine is in the bay. I've heard of it, but you know, when you're working on stuff, you know, you don't really think about that, or I never really thought about it. Oh, you know what? I should check on the exhaust too. That's not gonna, well, this side might. No, it should be all right. Famous last words. All right, we'll see you in a minute. All right, so there we have it. It's all bolted in and looks pretty good. Drive shaft is not cranked down in the back. I just have 1 bolt in it, but nice and centered. It's 5 inches from center line of the yoke to beginning of the loop. It's supposedly NHRA requirements if you have whatever, 12-second, 11-second car or something like that. I don't know. But I figured I'm putting it in, I might as well put it in the right spot, and that's where it was happiest with the floor. You can see the spacers here. There and there. You got to put the bolts from the inside going out because it gives you more room on the inside. I did have to persuade the floor a little bit here. Probably could have got away without it. But I wanted to make sure that the drive shaft was as centered as possible. I understand that the aluminum drive shafts and high performance drive shafts are a little bit larger, and I didn't want to have to do this twice. So yeah, it turned out pretty well. And just going to drop it back down, put the seats back in, and start wrapping up this project. So that'll be yeah, slave cylinder, so we got to fire it up, warm it up, make sure it goes into gear. Got to add oil to the trans, can't forget that. You know, button up all the exhaust. There's a lot to do still, so I'm gonna get to it. All right, guys, we're all back together. You can see what we look like here. Everything clears. Drive shaft loop is in, exhaust is on, drive shaft is in. What else? We're all wrapped up here. Trans is back tight. I do need to order a new gear for my Speedo to work, but I ordered one last time, and unknown to me, this is a 95 T5. I thought it was earlier than that. I guess they have like the ring gear that runs on there, the worm gear. It's a different tooth than the earlier ones. So I'm gonna lower it down. I do have the seats in. I just tested the pedal. I'm gonna fire it up, and we'll see how it goes from there. I do want to check the pedal, see if it goes, you know, forward and backward and all that good stuff. I'm sure it will, but you know, always good to check that stuff before you put all your tools away, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna lower the car down and we'll go from there. All right, let's see. Take inside here. Hopefully not too many of you are getting seasick from me moving around here. We're in neutral. Gas. Fuel pump. We're gonna put it in. We're still on the lift here, but I just want to check out. I got the brake on. feels buttery soft. Well, it's gonna take some getting used to. Nice. Yeah, so clutch disengages all the way, no dragging. Disengages really well, in fact. But the it's going to take some getting used to, because you lose that that feel. Where on a cable clutch, you know, you can kind of feel when it's engaging or when it's not, as far as like the stiffness in the pedal. There's no difference on this. It's just smooth. I really like it. It's going to be a lot more enjoyable to drive. You know, when you put your clutch in, you know, you're not ripping the seat out through the floor trying to hold it the way it was just recently with the new clutch and the cable. But I'm really happy with it. I'll probably fire it back up and get a little heat in the motor, because I did pick up some oil and a new FL1A Motorcraft filter. I'm going to spin that on because it's still got last summer's oil in it, which, I mean, we didn't drive it much, maybe 1,500 miles, if that, 1,000 miles probably. And yeah, probably not even that much, to be honest. But yeah, that's it. Sorry for the long rambling video. I just wanted to take you along. We got a lot done, and I'm not sure how I'm going to label this this video yet, since we did a few things. But thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, please subscribe. Subscriptions do help. And if you want some merch to help out the channel, you know, we have hoodies in stock and t-shirts in stock. In fact, I have them up in these sealed bins up top here. And happy to ship you one. Just reach out for pricing, and if you're local, you know, we can meet up and all that stuff. I'd love to get to know you anyways. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.